Hello, my savvy service providers scaling to 10K months. This is the High Ticket Sales Secret Masterclass. I am so excited to be here. My name is Jordan Ilderton. I am hosting this class and I'm just so grateful that you are here. I know that this is going to change your business. It's going to change your life. It's going to change your family economy. This is some just juicy stuff that we're getting into today. So if you haven't already, be sure to print out your playbook that goes with this. You really want to refer to that during this masterclass, during this training. It is a tool for you to have. I intentionally made it so that you couldn't fill in the PDF. I want you to print it out or at least write down on paper as we go through each of these secrets, because each one has a tip and a tool to go with it. And so writing down what goes with that is really going to support you to make it stick and really do the work that's going to make this masterclass change your life and change your business. So if you haven't signed up already, be sure you get that so that you have the playbook with you. So today I'm giving you the 5 high ticket sales secrets I had to learn when I pivoted from a $35 an hour bookkeeping offer to a $9,000 VIP 6-month coaching package. I know these secrets are going to change your life. I wish someone had given this to me. That's why I'm doing it for free. My coach totally told me I could charge for this. People are just not able to believe I'm doing this for free, but I want you to have this. I don't want it to be hidden behind a paywall, but I know sometimes with free stuff, we don't really pay attention to it. So I'm really inviting you today to set your intention, turn off the noise, turn off the distractions, and really focus on this. So this is going to be about an hour-long training. If you can't stay for the whole thing, no worries. Jump back in, catch the replay, pick up where you left off. But this is something, even though it's free, I still need you to set the intention to really show up for yourself and show up for your business. I know that if you're here, you're one of the savvy service providers who is going to use these tools to really change your life and your business, but we've got to be intentional about it. So I'm really asking you today to turn off the noise, turn off the distractions, and just focus with me. And even though it feels cheesy, I want you to write at the top of your playbook or just put your hand on your heart and say to yourself, I'm learning a lot today and it's going to change my business. It's going to change my life. I know it feels ridiculous, but really give yourself that permission to set that intention and just be like, yes, I am learning a lot today and it will make a difference, because this changed the game in my business. I'm not even gonna lie, I just get teary-eyed when I even think about learning these high ticket sales secrets. It has changed the trajectory of my life and my family's life, and I know it can for you too. And so that's why I really want you to pay attention and really use this to make change. So let me pull this up and make sure I'm going live in the group, and then we'll get started. So if you're new to my world, welcome. I am Jordan Ilderton. Again, I'm just going to pull this up and make sure we're there. All right, we're live. I'm Jordan Ilderton. I own Ilderton Bookkeeping and Coaching. I started my business 9 years ago. My oldest daughter was 2 weeks old when I started my business. I started as a bookkeeper because I majored in accounting, went the CPA route, did, tons of bookkeeping experience. So I started my business as a bookkeeper in 2015. And then when my second daughter was born in 2016, I also had another daughter in 2018. So those first 5 years of my business were just crazy and jam-packed, and I'm so grateful for them. I was building a business with 1 to 3 kids at home, working nap times and night times. Sometimes I'd even get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get it all done. And the bookkeeping was great, but I got to a point where I realized I'm ready for more. I knew that my background with the data and numbers really set me apart as a coach. I knew I wanted to help people on a deeper level with their business. I knew as a bookkeeper, yes, it was great to have these reports and have this information, but most people wanted more money. Yes, we can cut expenses and save money here and there, but most people need more revenue in order to increase their profitability. And so that was something I just knew I could help people with. I know so many business coaches who are amazing and they focus so much on mindset, and mindset is huge. That is a huge component of what I do with my one-to-one clients. The strategy is the easy part. It's the mindset piece that is really difficult. But I also knew that with my background in accounting and data and numbers, I brought so much more to the table than most coaches can. And so I was so excited to pivot from my bookkeeping done for you services to a higher ticket, higher touch, just in it with someone in their business service. And I struggled so much. Like, it was pretty easy to sell out my bookkeeping spots. Like, the work kind of just came, and I was kind of not smug, but like, I was kind of like, you either need the bookkeeping or you don't. And when I pivoted and started selling high ticket, I didn't have that at all. I was so scared to sell. Like, I struggled for so long, and I tried to get the resources. I did a $9,000 group program. I did a $4,000 mastermind. That's $13,000, and no one told me this stuff that I'm telling you today. I had to figure this all out on my own. I've worked with a one-to-one coach now for 2 years. I have spent many a session crying with her, figuring all this stuff out, really working through all of this. And so now I have sold out my high ticket one-to-one coaching, and I consistently sell that out. I've had 41 consecutive 5-figure months. I work between the hours of 9 to 2. I take the entire month of July off to take my daughters to the North Carolina mountains. And that was after pivoting from a $35 offer. And I know if I can do it, you can too. Like, none of us were born knowing how to sell. None of us were born knowing how to pivot from low ticket to high ticket. Like, it's not our fault that we don't know these things, but it is our responsibility as the business owner, as the CEO. It is our responsibility to figure this out. And so that's why I'm just so celebrating that you're here today, because you're one of the people who's willing to get the tools, to get the support, to do the work, so that you can actually pivot to your high ticket offer. So you can actually pivot from hourly services or done for you to done with you and VIP and concierge and boutique. Like, you can use this to really change the trajectory of your business. Like, I have, since I've pivoted from low ticket to high ticket, I've gone from $79K a year to $239K a year. And I work less, and I work with amazing people, and I love this so much. And so these tips and these tools and what I'm sharing with you today will change the game. So again, this is all something you can learn. Like, I had to learn this the hard way, but I'm so excited to share this with you today because it's just so good, and it's just too good to hide behind a paywall. So that is what we're talking about. Let me check. And if you have any questions, be sure to say hello, say hi. I want to get your questions answered. This is for you, to be super supportive for you. So let's go ahead and dive into why this is so important. So getting these high ticket sales secrets is going to change the game in your business, because we've got to know how to sell. It was pretty easy for me to get bookkeeping clients, but I didn't have to know how to sell. And so pivoting to high ticket really required me to sell. And we always think that our high ticket offer is just going to sell itself. That's literally what I thought. I looked at the fact that I had an accounting degree and background. I worked in public accounting. I took classes from, the MBA so that I could sit for my CPA exam. And if you're in the United States, that's a certified public accountant. So I was a CPA. I had so much experience and brought so much to the table when I pivoted to high ticket that I just thought people would be lining up to work with me, and that wasn't the case, and that's typically not the case. So I have talked to so many service providers who are, so experienced. They have more degrees, they have more certifications, they have more than most people out there in the online space, but they are so uncomfortable selling. And we feel like if I just do good work, it'll sell itself. And that just isn't the case with high ticket. We are just asking someone to invest their time and their money with us. And so our high ticket services don't just sell themselves. And so we're really going to talk through the 5 things today that will help you actually be good at sales, because again, this is a skill you can learn and that you need to learn. I look back and, think about, I got a degree in accounting. I sat for the CPA exam. I had a quarter life crisis and went to nursing school. I got a nursing degree. I almost went to nurse practitioner school. I had a family member just laugh because they were like, you just picked the most practical things. And I did that as almost like a trauma response, because I was craving safety. I was craving not having to put myself out there. I was craving not having to sell, that I just, had the certifications and had the experience, the work would just come. And that's just not the case. And so this was all just very hard learned lessons to me. Like, I can't tell you how many times in the beginning of pivoting to my high ticket coaching, I don't know how many times people said to me, you're great, but I can't afford you, or you're great, but I need to sign a few more clients, or you're great and I'll hire you when my business takes off. Like, I don't know how many times I heard that. It was so frustrating. And now people are like, that is so reasonable for what you offer. Where do I sign up? Or this does feel like a stretch, but there's literally no one else I could hire except for you. How do we get started? Like, that's what I hear now. And I know that that's what so many of you are craving. Like, people have been like, yes, I want to work with you, but, or I know you're valuable, but. And so that's what we're working through today, is to really be able to like turn all of those into yeses. How do I work with you? Where do I sign up? Because selling high ticket isn't harder, but it is different than selling low ticket. It's just totally different. And so these are the skills that you will have in your back pocket, like things that you can work through, tools and tips. They're all like in the playbook. Again, make sure you get signed up for that and make sure you stay till the end, because I'm saving the best for last. So you want to make sure you get the final 5 secrets. So I think I have touched on that enough, but people have told me how much they love like the buying process with me. They have said how supportive it feels, how good it feels before they even paid me a dime. And that's what I want for you, because that is what will change the game in your business. Like, yes, the clients and the cash is amazing. And like, it's really being that heart-centered entrepreneur that if you're here, I know that you are. If you're here, I know you have more experience than most people out there. I know you probably have more certifications. You're probably the real deal. Like, my clients are, I don't like to say they're unicorns, but they kind of are. Like, some of them in South Carolina are like the only people in South Carolina that offer what they do. Like, people can't touch their certifications or their experience. And if you're here, I'm sure that's you. But you might be losing clients to people who don't have as much experience or who have the shinier marketing. I worked with someone who had 4 master's degrees. They had 4 decades of experience, and they were a veteran, which for what this person did really mattered. And I remember them saying to me, like, I thought people were going to be lining up to work with me, and they had crickets. Like, they literally had 0 inquiries, like no leads coming in the door. And this is something that just, it's why I love doing what I do, because I know, like, if you're here, you are the real deal and you have the goods, and you just need these tools so that you can actually get them out there and change people's lives, because there are people out there with shiny marketing who don't have the skills and the experience that you do. And so we want you to be the one booking the clients. So that's how we're getting started. That's what we're talking about today. Throw your questions at me. Anything specific to your business, I want to be sure to help you answer it. Hi, Hendra. Thank you for joining. Let me know. Be sure to drop in the comments, and I'll be sure to answer them as soon as I can. We're going to dive into sales secret number 1. I have my throat coat tea because I know I'll be talking a lot today. So sales secret number 1 is that selling isn't sleazy. Like, I want you to actually rethink selling. Selling is actually very heart-centered. Like, you are helping someone get what they want and helping them get results. And they can't get results, they can't get the transformation if they don't buy from you. So this is, something that messed me up for a long time, because I was always taught good accountants don't sell. I was always taught if you're good at what you do, then the work will come. And this effed me up for a long time. Like, I understand where the people were coming from. They were very well-intentioned, but this did not serve me when I opened my own business, thinking that, I'm just, good at what I do, and people will just know that and they'll know to buy from me. And that's just not the case. Like, we've got to support someone. And this really clicked for me when my youngest daughter was a baby. So at that point, was early 2019. I was still doing the bookkeeping. That was all I offered. And I had one client. I went to their office like once a month to do their books. And right after she was born, I took her and just put her in the Moby wrap and fed her bottle in, my van, and then went inside to the client's office and did what I needed to do, and then changed her and fed her afterwards. And like, she slept the whole time and it was great. But, a few months in, I needed a babysitter. So I was so tired. My kids were 3, 2, and like 3 months. I was so overwhelmed, like keeping up with all the things and working and having a baby at home. Like, but I needed someone to stay with her while I went to that client's office because I just couldn't take her anymore. She was, doing all the baby things. Like, she didn't sleep all the time anymore. But I was so overwhelmed. And I remember someone in my neighborhood, like, coming to me. I don't know if they heard about it through someone or if I was talking to them. I don't remember. But she said, like, she sold to me, like, hey, I'm a babysitter. Do you need me to come? And, here's my rate and this is what I do. And you can go to the client's office. And I was just like, yes, thank you. Like, if I would have had to go out and like look for someone, like, I don't know how long that would have taken me. It felt so overwhelming. I was so grateful that she sold to me. Like, she told me what she could do for me, how she could do it. She pitched to me, and I was so grateful because it solved the problem that I had. And this is when it clicked for me that, like, selling is not a bad thing. Like, we are helping someone get what they wanted. Like, it didn't feel sleazy at all. I was so grateful because there was just like 50 different routes I could have gone in. I could have texted friends. I could have looked on Nextdoor. I could have gone like one of those babysitter websites. Like, there was so many actions I could have taken, and I just was like in like decision paralysis, and I was tired and I didn't do anything. So her just coming to me and selling to me made it so much easier, and I'm so grateful for her for that. And so many of my clients are just so scared to sell. They're so scared to show up online. Like, what will their families think? What will their in-laws think? What will their other mom friends think? What will their people from college think? Like, they're so afraid of putting this that they just don't. So this is what I'm always saying to them is like, it's so heart-centered to put yourself out there and sell because people won't know if you don't tell them. And they're like, but what if someone thinks I'm salesy? And it's like, well, you need to be selling. It's okay if someone thinks that you're selling because you're a business, and like, that's what businesses do. I don't see commercials on TV or billboards driving down the road and I'm like, how dare you sell to me? Like, how dare you? It's just like, yeah, they're a business and they have something that could maybe solve my problem and they're selling. And so really thinking about like letting yourself click into the fact that selling isn't sleazy. Like, we've all had the sleazy experiences, but that doesn't mean it's inherently sleazy. Like, it's truly amazing the number of clients and the revenue my clients make when they hook into this, and they're literally like, no, this is heart-centered. So is this all making sense? Are y'all getting this? Let me know your questions. But this is also the reason I didn't book clients for months, because I could provide value all day long. I could support someone for free all day long, but I had such a hard time when it came to making the pitch. I wanted to crawl under the table. I wanted to just like wrap up a best fit call and be like, here, let me email you all the information. Like, my face would get red. I would get sweaty. Like, my heart would start pounding. Like, selling felt so uncomfortable. I had such a visceral reaction. And again, this is like almost a trauma response I had because I picked, degrees and like careers where I thought I wouldn't have to sell. And then here I am in my own business needing to sell. And it just held me back for so long. But we've got to think that like, we've got to stop thinking that like, if someone wanted it bad enough, or we just prove our value enough that someone's going to buy from us, like, that's just not the case. If you think about an example outside of business, like if someone's car battery dies and you've got jumper cables in your car and you're just too scared or shy to tell someone, hey, I got some jumper cables, we could jump your battery, like, that's not heart-centered. Like, being too shy and just driving away and leaving them stranded is the opposite of heart-centered. And so I really invite you to look at that for your business and say that like, it's actually not heart-centered for me not to sell. Like, by me not selling and helping them understand how I can solve their problem, like, that's not heart-centered at all. And so really letting yourself get on board with that and like really feel that with every fiber of your being, because your services can probably help someone with their health journey. Your services maybe can help someone lose weight, or help them in their business become more profitable, or to make more money, or to onboard clients easier, or to do their marketing better. Like, you solve some kind of problem that's going to give someone a transformation. And if you're not out there like actively selling it and having these conversations with them, they just won't know, and they're not going to get their problem solved. So the tool for this one, be sure to check out your playbook. I've given you 2 prompts on this one, 2 journal prompts. So you want to be sure you signed up so you have access to the playbook. And then you also want to be sure that you are like doing these journal prompts, because we're creating a new story in your mind. Like, we all have like the used car salesman, you know, that we think of. We all have like those sleazy DMs. Like, someone literally last week like slid into my DMs, was just like, you better write me back or I'm going to keep messaging you until you do. Like, we all have those things in our brain that we just kind of default to when we think of selling. So what we're doing with these journal prompts I'm giving you is creating a new story. We're like lovingly brainwashing you in the best way possible, because we have got to have a new narrative around like selling and around marketing and pitching your services and what you sell. So we have to go through this work first. We have to like get on board with like your high ticket offer is really like serving someone, and it's not heart-centered to not tell someone about it. So I have a testimonial. One of my clients, after we did this work together, because she was so uncomfortable selling, I'm going to read it because I don't have it memorized, but she said, before our work, I felt uncertain and unsure if this transition was the best way forward. And by transition, she means pivoting from low ticket to high ticket. So she was unsure if pivoting was the best way forward. And then she said, after our work, I feel clearer about the sales process and how to work pitching my services into my calls naturally. Like, that is huge. She's saying, I'm feeling more confident in attracting potential customers rather than hiding. Now I have a list of people to follow up with and continue them through my sales journey. If you're on the fence about this work, it has to be done. And I just so celebrate her, because she was someone who was so scared of like, what will people think if I'm selling? What will my friends and family think? Because she's a mom. She has family members who don't own businesses. And so she worked through all of that to create this pipeline of people that she can follow up with and have these sales conversations and do it naturally. And that is huge. So that is what I want for you. And that is why I am just loving this first sales secret. So let me know if you have questions or you need more examples about that, but we'll move on to high ticket sales secret number 2. And this secret says, I'm not taking someone's money, I'm giving them a service that will change their life. So this one is huge. For a long time, I didn't feel worthy of my offer. And I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but like, you're not sure if you give enough value, or you're not sure if it's worth the rate that you charge, whether you charge $500 or $10,000. Like, you fundamentally aren't sure if you're worth it. And this is like, it holds my like one-to-one clients back in so many ways. And I'll use a personal example here. This is when I was first pivoting to one-to-one, first having a sales conversation with this business owner that I knew I could help. Like, I knew I was the best person for her. She was a mom. She was a business owner. She had multiple kids. She was a single mom. Like, I knew hands down that I was the best person to support her, because I got her. Like, I really was able to work with her and support her in ways that like I knew no one else would honestly kind of do or like put up with, but like I just got it and I knew where she was coming from. But I was so hung up on taking her money. And this was because my mom, you know, she got divorced when I was young, and I saw what she went through, and I saw how hard she worked to, you know, buy us presents, and she put things on credit cards sometimes to pay for things, and she worked a lot to like have food and like a place to live and try to give us what we needed. And so I just had that story in my head of what my mom went through, and so I was projecting that on her, and I was like feeling bad that she was a single mom and like I was taking her money. And really what I had to realize was like, I wasn't taking her money, but I was giving her a service that would change her life, that would change her business, that would help provide for her daughters. Like, she had daughters just like I did. And it really helped me like actually sell to her, because I honestly wasn't even going to, because I was so like, she has multiple kids and she's a single mom and I offer high ticket. Like, I feel bad taking her money. And we ended up working together. And when she hired me, she had a net loss of $915. So that's, if you know about accounting, it's revenue, expenses, and like profit is what you bring home. So she had negative profit the year that we started working together. And the next year after working together, she had $120,000 of profit. So she went from negative $915 to $120,000 profit from working together one-to-one. And I just think about the fact, if I hadn't sold to her, if I was too scared to like take her money, like she, who knows, would have still been in the hole. Maybe she would have closed down her business. I don't know. But none of that would have helped her family. None of that would have helped her put food on the table. Like keeping her business open and making it profitable was huge. And so that's why like now I can sell to people. Like no one has bags of money sitting around, but I am so sold that like I'm not taking someone's money. Like I'm literally giving them a transformation in their business and in their life. And I know my services make a difference. And so I feel so different selling to them. So this is something I really want you to think about with your business. Like imagine if I hadn't sold to her, like who knows what would have happened. But you know, when I made this mindset shift, like things changed fast. I went from 3 clients to 6 clients to 9 clients in 4 months just because of this one secret of like, I'm not taking someone's money. Like I'm literally helping them get a transformation. So does this make sense to y'all? Let me know, like, how are you feeling in your business? Do you feel like you're taking someone's money? We want to get you on board with like, you're helping them have a transformation that they've just never been able to have, or helping them get a result that they just still haven't gotten on their own. So for the tool for this one, again, be sure to refer to your playbook. I've given you 2 journal prompts on this. I want you to do these journal prompts that will really help you step into your confidence, really help you own your value and own your work. Like we want you to be able to own the results that are possible for someone working with you. And working with you is actually the best way for them to spend their money, because they're probably going to hire someone at some point. Like whether it's you or someone else, and we want them to hire you because like we already talked about at the beginning, you probably have more experience, you probably have more, you know, results, and like you have more of the goods to bring to the table than someone else who's just louder or shinier marketing. And so if someone is actually going to hire someone, whether it's for their health journey or their fitness or their business, like we want them to hire you. And so you need to be so on board with what's possible for someone. And again, this isn't about like promising results, because I'm always like, run from anyone who promises like results, but it's like you can still be in integrity and show someone what's possible, and show people like, this is what people get when they work with me, this is what's possible for you, and help inspire them to see that. And so that's what this secret is really all about, is like getting yourself on board with this. So I have a client example, and this is a client who offers a course. She has different kind of levels and tiers of it, but the general price is like $997. And she constantly had people reaching out, asking to work like with her specifically, or to get more support. Because yes, the course she offers is amazing, but some people just need that extra level of support. And so on one of our calls, it kind of just came up of like, hey, like if this is a problem your people have, and this is something they're wanting, like why don't we give them like a VIP option where they just get to work with you on top of the course? And so she's a busy mom. She takes Fridays off with her daughter in the summers. Like it was really like, okay, but like this can't be this huge lift for me because I don't have a lot of time. And so I was like, okay, what would make it worth it for you? Like we know your people have this problem. How can we help them solve this? And so she's like, yeah, it would be like $3,000 a person. Like I can't do it for any less than that. And so I was like, great, okay, we're gonna open a few spots for these, $3,000 each. Like let's just test it and see how it goes. And then weeks went by, and I'm like, okay, how's it going with the VIP part? And she's like, I haven't told anybody about it. I haven't sold it. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And it came to, find out she was just so uncomfortable charging that. Like her audience notoriously doesn't have a lot of money. And I'm going to keep this private. I'm not going to say who her audience is, but they're just at a point, like a phase and a stage in their life where they don't have a lot of money. Like, no one has bags of money sitting around, but like her audience is just in this phase of life where they don't. And so she felt so uncomfortable charging that. And we had to do so much work around like what's actually possible. Like when people work with her in the VIP container, they have a fast pass to getting the results they want. And once she was finally on board with that and like felt solid and grounded in that, she was able to sell these spots. Like she typically opens 5 of these each time she launches, and at $3,000 each, that's $15,000 like extra just on top of the launch. Full profit for her. Like she's not paying any team members to deliver on this. Like that is huge. And that's $15,000 each time she launches because she was able to like get on board with the fact that she's not taking someone's money. She's giving them a fast pass. And that's something that even now, like after she's done this a few times, she has such amazing testimonials. She has such amazing data to show that like this really does like work for her people. And like she feels so solid and sold on this $3,000 offer that like it's not even a thing to sell it anymore. In this last launch, I know she booked someone at $3,500 for it, so I think she's even increasing the price. So just see like how huge this could be. This is like tens of thousands of dollars she would have missed out on if we hadn't gotten super clear on like she's not taking someone's money. Like she's literally giving them the fast pass to the results that they want. So people even reach out to her directly now to buy these spots, and that is huge. And it was all because she made this shift that she's not taking someone's money. She's literally changing their lives with what this service is. So that's how powerful it can be when you come from this place of like, I am so sold on the transformation. Like I am so sold on this, and we can sell from that place. It makes such a difference. So does that make sense? Do y'all have any questions about this one? Feel free, if you have questions or want more examples, just let me know. I know we got some people on, but I haven't seen any comments, but let me know if you've got some. All right, we're moving along to high ticket secret number 3. In this one, I have like a few different lenses we'll kind of go through this with. Okay, no comments yet. So this sales secret is what you say on a call isn't as important as how someone feels. And this is, we buy from a place of emotion and then we fill it in with logic. And so this really clicked for me. I told y'all I did a group program. This was when I first pivoted to high ticket, one-to-one coaching. I did this very masculine accountant group program. It was $9,000. They taught me to do a sales script. They taught me to get payment on the phone. They taught me like all this gross stuff, and it didn't work. Like I felt so gross. Like I didn't even know how to get payment on the phone. I was like, I just don't understand. I can't compute. Like this doesn't make sense to me. So when I threw that out and really started like doing this more organically, I realized like that's actually what worked. Like the script did not work. And another example to kind of look at it through this lens of like people buy based on emotion is like how I started working with my one-to-one coach. Like there are a million business coaches out there. So after I did the group program, after I did the $4,000 mastermind, that's when I was like, I'm done with this stuff. I want one-to-one support. So that's when I was kind of like in the market for a business coach, and there's so many out there. And when I found her, I just felt like we vibed. Like there's all these business coaches that are like popping champagne bottles and have their, like cleavage out, and they're just like, it was just not my vibe. Hey, we got some more people joining. Thanks so much for joining. But when I found her, I bought with her based on the emotion of just like, I just feel you, and this just feels good. And like, it wasn't this like reaction of people who just, I didn't vibe with. So that's another way to look through this lens of like, we really buy based on emotion. And so my third example is like, if we're thinking about high ticket, like we're talking high ticket services, but this applies to anything. So even like the leggings that I have on right now, because I never wear like real pants, but these are like $129 leggings, which in the world of what you offer, that's probably not high ticket, but in the world of leggings, like to me, $129 is high ticket. And I buy these based on how they make me feel. I buy them based on how I feel when I go into the store. I buy them based on the experience and how I feel with the salesperson. I buy just kind of based on all these emotions, especially as a mom with 3 kids. I have a hard time giving myself permission to buy $129 leggings. Like, so really just grounding into this, like, we really buy based on emotions and looking at it through these like different lenses. And so if it's like this with leggings and how I feel with leggings, like, think about it in terms of your offer and your service, and like not just the money that people are investing, but the time people are investing. Like, we've got to realize and remember, like, our people are not buying based on logic, they're buying based on emotion, and then they're filling it in with logic. So this is why there's no perfect script. Like, drop the script. Like, the script is to listen to the person in front of you. Like, that's literally like what you've got to do. So the $9,000 group program I purchased taught the script. They taught to get payment on the phone. It felt so gross and uncomfortable for me. So it's got to feel gross and uncomfortable for the person in front of me. And I always felt like I was missing something. Like, I was trying to do what they told me to do, but I felt like I was missing something. Like, everyone knew some secret that I just didn't have. And once I realized people buy based on emotion and buy based on the connection, like, that was the thing. That was like the secret that I was missing. And so really, like, letting myself just be a real human on the call and drop the script was like a game changer. I was actually able to have real conversations with people. Like, if someone gets on a best fit or a sales call or a discovery call with you and they feel buzzy and excited and like really lit up about what's possible, like, they are going to buy from you. Like, we buy based on emotions and then fill it in with logic. So in the playbook, there are 2 tips for you. And basically what I'm asking you to do is ask them what they really want. Like, you're, really listening, and then you're reflecting back to them how your work together will get them what they want. So what I used to do when I first started selling high ticket that did not work was I'd be like, here's the price, this is the number of sessions that you get, this is how long the sessions are. And like, with all the love in the world to my previous self, like, no one gave a shit about if my sessions were 45 minutes or an hour, or if they got 3 sessions or 4 sessions. Like, that's not what they were wanting to know. They were wanting to know, and they were going to buy from me. And this is when everything shifted for me, is when I started really listening to what they wanted and then connecting the work that I would do with them back to what they wanted. And so with every person, this is kind of different. And this is like, for me, I'm very like, I like that sure thing. Like, I got my degrees and I have my certifications, like, got all this stuff, but like, you've just got to listen to the human in front of you and really kind of go from there, because each person is going to be slightly different. Like, the transformation, the result you give your people is probably going to be similar, like pretty same across the board, but with each person, it's going to be slightly different. So you've got to listen to them, and you've got to connect the dots of why your work with them is going to get them what they want, and not just like, your sessions are this long and the investment is this amount and it's for this many months. Like, drop that stuff. Like, yes, they will need to know that, but they really need to know why you, and why my unlimited in between Voxer support is going to help someone. Like, my clients can, get on a best fit call and then hop in Voxer and we can talk about the objections that they just went through, or they're having issues with a team member, they can message me in Voxer and work through that, or they feel really uncomfortable selling, or someone told them no, or they need to do some personal outreach, but they feel so gross. Like, that in-between support is everything, and why my clients are able to 6x, 7x, 10x their results. The 3 sessions a month is where we do our strategy. It's where we really look at the traffic dashboards I build. Like, no other coach builds traffic dashboards, like, as a bonus for free. But I just know we can like pinpoint exactly in the sales process where their leak is, where the gap is with these traffic reports. So that's what I'm talking about on my sales calls. It's not just like, you get XYZ. It's literally like, you can 6x, 7x, and 10x your results because I am in your back pocket, like, at all times, unlimited support. And that's just what makes the difference. And so think about, for you, and I know the journal prompt in the playbook is going to help you with this, but really think about what it is that you're selling someone that's really helping them get that transformation and get that feeling and get excited and be able to see what's possible with your support not someone else's, but what you specifically will bring to the table to support them. And that is going to change the game in your sales calls. That is going to have people booking with you over and over because they can see what's possible and they can see why your support over someone else's is going to get them what they want. So does that make sense? Like, again, no one really gives a shit how many calls or how long the session's all. Like, they give a shit that they feel like what's possible is with you, and they get excited about the work together, and that's what changes the game. So does that make sense? Let me know if you have questions. So I want to come full circle with that. So I talked about the program that taught me the script and get the payment, and when I dropped all of that, like, my results blew up. I have a full client roster. I'm, multi-six-figure business owner because I dropped the script and instead just focused on the person in front of me and what they want. And this is what I have every single client that works with me focus on. Like, we'll really ideate together, like, after they have a best fit call, after they have a sales call, like, okay, what was really going on for that person? Not just like, okay, I told them I'm going to send them information. And I'm like, no, you got to come to me with, like, what's really going on? What do they really want? How are you connecting that? And they start, like, it's how they, like, train themselves to do that on the calls, because they know if they're going to have to, like, answer me of, like, what's really going on with that person, like, and they're like, I don't know, like, it's like, okay, well, next time on the next one, we need to know that so we can have this conversation. So this is what you're doing on your sales calls. You're not giving this really personal experience to someone and then turning into a robot with a script with a sales pitch, because, like, we can all smell that a mile away. We're tapping into what they really want, and this is when follow-up is huge. Like, sales are in the follow-up, so when you're able to do these really personal follow-ups and really know what they want and know what's holding them back, like, they are going to buy from you because you're the only one probably who's gotten that deep with them and who's, like, taken the time to listen and do that with them. So we are making it personal to them. Yes, you will probably see patterns with, your audience and what they want, but, like, everyone is different and everyone wants to feel seen and heard, and that's what you're doing on your sales calls. So again, go into the playbook, see the 2 tips that I give you so you can apply this to your business. Make sure you aren't skipping this step on your sales calls, on your best fit and discovery calls, because this is going to make such a difference. So how are y'all feeling? Is this all making sense? Again, let me know your questions. We can talk about your business specifically or anything if you aren't sure. But we're going to go into high ticket sales secret number 4. And this one is objections don't mean they can't afford it. So typically I always took, I can't afford it, or you're great, but as a no. So I don't know if any of y'all have ever experienced this, but I've definitely been on sales calls where someone said they couldn't afford it or they didn't have the money, and then I saw them online that they went on a nice vacation or bought a really expensive purse. And I know some of my healthcare provider clients have had someone say they can't afford it, and then they see, oh, they really, like, started paying for these fancy weight loss injections or insert whatever, and we're kind of like, oh, you actually can afford it. So this is what I really want to invite you today is realize objections aren't a no. Like, a no is a no, an empowered no is a no, but just because someone has an objection doesn't mean they're a no. It typically means they're afraid. It typically means I'm scared. This feels like a stretch. This feels like a lot of money. I need to be seen. I need to be heard. So let's see. Oh, I used to always think objections were no. Sorry, I'm, like, looking at my notes. And I really, like, would believe that, like, oh, okay, like, I would get embarrassed that I pitched to them almost if they were like, I just don't have the money, or you're great, but I need to book some more clients. And I would just, like, immediately back off. Like, my nervous system would get activated. I felt like I'd done something wrong. Like, my face would get red. And I really had to realize, like, kind of put this not on them, but kind of have this, like, not even a wall, but just this, like, not make it about me thing, because I would always make it about me. We've really got to make it about the person in front of us and not see an objection as a no, but that they're scared. I don't know why I said scared. But what they might really be saying is, like, I want to work with you, but I'm scared, or I need to, I just feel like I need someone to give me this permission to be scared and do it anyway. So really, if you're sitting there and you're the type of person that you hear an objection and you just tap out of the conversation, like, this is where I want you to lean in. This is when so much juicy change in your business can happen, because most people aren't leaning into objections. Most people are like tapping out. Okay, you don't have the money. All right, see you later. Like, you are going to be one of the few people that is actually like, let me support you more. So be sure you look at your playbook and go through this. But when someone has an objection, it's usually for one of three reasons. And the first reason being is maybe they don't want to work with you, but they don't have the tools to tell you. The second reason could be they don't know the benefits of the offer or why it would help them. And that's when you want to go back to that other sales secret where you're like helping them make the connection and connect the dots of why this is going to get them what they want. And then the third reason they have an objection is that they just don't trust themselves. Like, they've invested before and didn't get results, or they didn't show up before, or the other service provider didn't show up. Like, there could be 100 reasons, but like these typically, all those reasons will fall into one of these three buckets. So it's going to be one of those three. And your job as the service provider is to find out which one it is. So again, refer to the playbook for tips. But let's get clear, like, we need to be available for that conversation, because again, someone is just saying they're scared usually when they have an objection. Someone is just saying that they're scared. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of time. So something else that comes up around this one that I'm always talking to my clients around is a lot of times the reason they think that they can't hire you is actually the reason they do need to hire you. So this comes up a lot for like the work that I do. People are like, oh, when my business takes off, I'll hire you. Like, I used to hear that all the time, and I'm sitting there like, actually, that's exactly the reason you would want to hire me, is because your business isn't taking off, and like that's literally the work we're going to do together. I think of some of my clients who support people on health journeys, and they're like, if I just had more time, then I would be able to work with you. And it's like, well, that's kind of the reason you want to work with someone, because you haven't made the time, and like now you don't have the health results, or you don't have the weight loss results that you want. So really kind of realizing and almost like giving yourself permission to see that like so many of the objections that you're going to hear for working with you are exactly the reason that someone does need to hire you. And so like, let yourself be okay with that, because it's almost crazy to think that like we would ask someone to invest time and money and that they wouldn't have an objection. Like, that's kind of like not realistic on this planet. Like, if you're going to invest $500 to $10,000, like, of course we're going to have an objection. Of course we're going to be scared. Of course, like, it will feel stretchy, and like, let yourself see that like that's so normal, and like have some compassion for the people in front of you and really lean into like what's really going on. Because saying that they don't have the money or they don't have the time is like the easiest excuse in the world. And so what we want to do as the service provider is to see like what's really going on. Need to take a breath. So again, is this landing? Let me know. Like, we're not arguing with someone, like they really truly believe their objection. We're just opening the door to have like a legit real conversation to see what's really going on. So refer to the playbook, but there are two quick things I'll offer here around this one. Again, can you see that it would actually be weird if they didn't have an objection, and like let yourself be okay with that and see that as part of your sales process? Like, of course someone's going to have an objection. Like, I'm asking them to spend X amount of dollars or X amount of time with me. Like, of course it's so normal they would have an objection. And two, like, this is the chance to support them, give them a taste of what it's like to work with you as you help them have clarity and as you support them to like get out of their own way. Because when you do this, it will just change the game. So I have a client example, and this wasn't a client who necessarily does best fit calls, but she does like these big launches for her program. And one of her launches was just kind of stuck. Like, she was just like, oh, I'm stuck at this number and it's not moving forward, and I don't want to be stuck here. Like, I wanted like, I don't remember how many. She wanted like 10 more people or something, like an extra $10,000 in her launch. So what we started doing was speaking to objections on the front end in her content and emails, and her results like blew up. Like, I think there was like, I know it was an extra $8,000 that we increased her launch. And I think it was because of like one specific email, which is freaking wild, but she sent it to her list basically saying all the things that someone is thinking, like saying the things that they are scared of, saying the things that like are holding them back or like keeping them from jumping over the fence. Like she just spoke to those, and we were able to increase an enter launch by $8,000 more. And that's $8,000 that would have been left on the table if she hadn't leaned into objections on the front end, and it made such a huge difference. So let me know, does that make sense? Let me know if you've got comments or questions around that one. So I know I'm throwing a lot at you today. We're going to get to the fifth secret in just a minute, but first, I'm telling you the secrets that I learned myself. I'm telling you the journey that I had to go through. And what I really want to offer you today is how I think about business, is that this is a piece of your machine. So I think of business as a machine, and all these pieces of the machine have to work together so that the machine runs like a well-oiled machine. Like that's where it comes from. So when you have a process to attract best fit leads, and when you're able to convert those leads, that's when these sales secrets really pop and make a huge difference for you. So if you're someone that isn't able to attract leads, or you're not able to convert them, these sales secrets aren't going to make as big of a difference. So that's why I've created a week-long coaching session. I'm opening up some spots. This is my increasing high ticket leads and conversion intensive. And this is going to make these sales secret pops, because we want a sales process that really nurtures people and has people always coming in. And then we want you to be able to convert them on the back end. And then when we apply these secrets to it, like everything literally just pops. So we've got to stack these things on. So we know if you're not attracting the right people, it's really hard to get someone to a yes. Or if people don't understand what you offer, or if people don't understand why they should work with you, or people, don't have the framework to have a sales call and be able to have the tools, and not the script, but like a framework to show your thought leadership and provide them safety and lean into objections, like these sales secrets just aren't going to work as well. So that's why I'm offering these business intensives, these week-long coaching sessions. If you book within the next week, you're getting $500 off. So that is huge. Like this will change the game in your business. This is where like your business just is a well-oiled machine. We'll start the week off with an audit. Like I want to know where's the leak in your sales process. So that's what we focus on during the leak. That's what we plug. So after we know the leak that we need to plug, we're either going and like creating a sales process and a client journey track, or we're going with converting the leads that you do have into paying clients track. And those are a little bit different. And again, like I really want to work with you to like audit your process, because most people don't really know. They're like, I'm not really sure. It just feels like nothing is working. And so we're going to have like a huge amount of clarity on the front end to know, like as a third party, I can pinpoint exactly where your leak is. And we are going to work during that week so that you like get the support to plug it. So we start off with an hour-long call. You have an unlimited amount of email support in between, and then we bookend it with a 30-minute bonus call to make sure you have everything you need, whether it's creating your sales process, whether it's nailing your messaging, nailing your positioning, having that easy next step for someone to take and build the relationship with, or we're practicing sales calls. Like we're really gonna like role play, and I'll be there to be like, okay, this is how we start. This is how we make the pitch. This is how we like pivot into objections. Like again, not a script. I do not believe in that, but there are frameworks and tools that will really help you so much when you have these. And so that's what we're doing in this week of support. So I will send all the details later, but that's just going to help all of this work so much better. And again, because you signed up, you'll get $500 off if you book within the next week. So I've got a testimonial. This was someone who did an intensive with me, and they said, when we had our intensive call, I told you I'd made $70 from services, then several months of no inquiries or booking and not covering expenses. Currently, I have $2,000 in invoices. I've had a lot of inquiries, and I've gotten comfortable with my pricing. It's just amazing. I really thank you for the clarification and confidence. I also just paid myself. Champagne is chilling for tonight to celebrate. So basically, before her intensive, she had $70, and then after the intensive, she had $2,000 in invoices. So that is amazing, and that is how fast this stuff can work. Like once we plug the leak, once we fill the gap of like where you're leaking, people either coming in or people converting, that's how much your business can change. And that's why my clients 6x, 7x, 10x their results because they're not doing 500 different things. Like, people online are selling you build your email list, try blogging, run ads, do Pinterest. Like, you could spin your wheels for months and years, but when we do this like really concentrated one-to-one work, you just know the problem to solve, and we can solve that. And that's what will like just make your business run so much faster or so much easier with less work and with less action. So let me know. You can book the call. We can book a best fit call first, or you can go ahead and just like purchase that. I'll share the link after this, but we're going to go into high ticket sales secret number 5. And again, I saved the best for last. Like, this truly is my favorite. So you want to be transparent about what you think and see. And I know this one is so like, it's not obvious, actually. I was going to say it's so obvious. It's so obvious to me, but it's not obvious to most people. Like, I always tell my clients, you're either selling your services or you're buying someone's bullshit. So this one kind of piggybacks off of sales secret number 4, but your clients aren't hiring you to yes them. Like, they're not hiring you to agree with everything they say. And this really clicked with me when I started selling my high ticket offer. And I had this belief that if I said the thing I was actually thinking, that I would like piss someone off and they wouldn't want to hire me. And I had all these like people pleasing tendencies where I just needed to kind of like tiptoe around the thing or like not say it. I'll just think it. But it really like clicked, and I realized I need to be congruent in my sales process. So yes, as part of the people pleasing part, but they didn't, when I realized people aren't hiring me to yes them, they're hiring me to give them like my true honest support and say the thing. And so when I started saying the thing on my sales calls, like, it just popped. And not only did it help me book more clients, but it helped me book more of the right clients. So think about this situation. Just last week, I was on one of my sold out strategy sessions with someone, and she booked an intensive for next week. So we're doing one of my week-long one-to-one coaching intensives, but on the call, her leads have dried up. Like, no leads coming through the door. So she doesn't even have anyone to convert into a client. So I was brainstorming just some easy things she could add to her sales process to get more leads coming in the door. And she was just like, I don't have time for that. And years ago, I would have been like, oh, well, let's talk about time blocking. Have you tried this? Or let's look at your calendar. Like, how are you allocating your time? And on the call, I was just kind of like, said the thing I was thinking. Like, nothing I say on this call will help you if you don't have time for marketing. And that's when she was really just kind of like, I'm scared. Like, I'm scared to put myself out there. I feel sleazy. And so that's when we were able to like have a true conversation. And it came from me being willing to say the thing. Again, I years ago would have been like, have you tried time tracking? I can give you a time blocking template that I made. Like, no. When I just sat there and was like, if you don't have time for marketing, like, there's literally nothing I can do. There's literally nothing anyone can do for you. And so that's when we had the real conversation. And so it really helps to see like this open the door. Like, we're doing an intensive next week to like solve for this problem. But like, I really gave her an experience of what it's like to work with me on the front end. Like, no one is paying me to just tiptoe around their stuff. Like, they are paying me and they want a taste of what it's like to work with me on the front end. And I had another client who just had this like aha moment with this, because when she works with people, she's looking for patterns. Like, with what she does, she's looking for patterns. And so she's like, oh, of course I'm going to look for patterns on the front end before they even pay me a dime. Like, of course, like, that makes so much sense. And it just gave her like so much permission and so much just like alignment on the front end to be able to like say what she sees like from the get-go. So does that make sense? It's like, you're not going to be one person on that sales call and then turn into someone else when you deliver your services. And think of like any examples outside of business. Like, when you go to the hairdresser and get a haircut, you don't want them to just yes you. When you go into a store to buy clothes, you don't want someone just yesing you. Like, you are going to these people, we're considering them experts, and we want their actual opinion, and we want to know what they're actually thinking. So this just created like this pop moment in my business with high ticket clients, because I also just booked better fit clients. Like, the other secrets, like 1 through 4, helped me sell more and convert more, but this one is the one that really helped me convert and book the right clients. So 57% of my clients have been with me for 2 years or more. So that is wild in the online space. Most one-to-one coaches do not have that kind of like super high renewal re-sign rate, but I do, and I really attribute it to this secret. I have a super low default rate. Like, no one defaults on my payments. I have a super low rate of people who like opt out of a contract. Like, that stuff just kind of stops happening when you're using this secret and you're doing this work on the front end. Because if someone's not the right fit for your work, like, this is when you get to figure that out before you enter in a contract. So like, you can, try to people please on the call, but that's when you get people working with you who aren't the right fit, who default on their payments, or ghost you, or like cut out early on contracts. And so this is just going to make a huge difference. And if you're scared to do this, like, just remember the fact that like there is a difference between being transparent and just being an asshole. So like, just let yourself show up honestly and congruent with your offer, because it's going to make the biggest difference. Like, someone on the sales call is discerning for fit for you, but as a high ticket service provider, you're also discerning for fit as much as they are, because that's what's going to really have the right fit clients come in who are going to stay with you for years, who don't default on their payments, who don't ghost you, who don't cut out on contracts. Like, that is going to make the biggest difference. And like, we are all smart. Like, we know if someone's saying, like, whether someone's saying something or not, we like pick up on it. So we may as well say the thing. And like, my job in the sales process is to be super honest and super congruent with what it's like to work with me on the back end. Like, if you think about done for you or low ticket services, like, you're doing a service for someone. But when you do like high ticket, VIP, concierge, boutique, like, you're really doing something with someone. Like, it's a co-creative process. And so on the sales call, this is the time to get into that co-creative process and really like discern for fit and let someone step up for that. Because if you're saying the thing that you're thinking and the other person's just like not there for it, like they're not available for it, it doesn't feel true at all, like, that's just a great indication that like y'all probably aren't a great fit to work together. And so let that be okay. Like, let that discern for fit. So let me know, does that make sense? I've got tips in the playbook, but this is when you want to really refer to the playbook and have some best practices. But, a few things I always like to keep in mind is that when you do this, just like ask permission. Like, hey, I know we've only talked for 30 minutes, but I'm noticing something. Do you mind if I bring it up? Or feel free to take this or leave this, but XYZ. And then you can ask them, like, does that feel true? What comes up when I say that? Like, again, we're not like being an asshole, but we're really just opening the door to like have a true and real conversation and really like support someone who's going to be the right fit. So those are just a few tools to have in your back pocket. But again, saying the thing on the front end is not being an asshole. It's being congruent with how you're going to be on the back end, and people need that. So let me know if that makes sense. Let me know if you've got questions. We're going to run through all of them. Number 1, selling isn't sleazy. Number 2, I'm not taking someone's money. I'm providing them a service that will change their business. Number 3, what you say on a call isn't as important as how someone feels when they walk away on that call. Something in my throat. Number 4, objections don't mean they can't afford it. And number 5, be transparent about what you think and see. So again, I have shared all this with you. I have shared my story. I've shared how I struggled to, go from a $35 an hour offer to a $9,000 offer that I have now sold out. I've made 41 consecutive 5-figure months. I take the month of July off. I just like support the best people. I work between the hours of 9 to 2. I'm a hands-on mama to my 3 girls. Like, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to respond to some client stuff, and then I'm going to take the afternoon to pick up my girls, go out to Isle of Palms because it's my grandfather's 97th birthday. Like, I get to just have this amazing life and business that fits together because I've just set my business up in a way to like provide for me really well and know that it just works like a well-oiled machine. So again, like, book a best fit call if you want to talk about one of these intensives, because we want to audit your sales process. So doing these 5 high ticket sales secrets is not auditing your sales process. Like, if you've got a big leak somewhere, these aren't going to change the game for you. Like, we've got to plug that leak. So let's book a best fit call. We want to get really clear on the problem that we need to solve, because there are plenty of people out there who are willing to take your money. There are people who are saying you need to like do this group program, or the ads are the thing, or that like you think something is wrong with your funnel, or you think something is wrong with your offer, or you think something is wrong with your pricing, or you think something is wrong with you. Like, if you don't know the problem you need to solve, you're going to go in 50 different directions and you're going to feel so frustrated. And so we're going to take this time to really audit what your business needs, because that's going to be different from like the person I'm doing an intensive with next week. Like, your business, what your gap is so different probably than like anyone else out there, and anyone selling you something doesn't know exactly what your business needs. They know they're selling something that worked for them and their business. So I want to really get clear with you on what that thing is your business needs. Where's the gap? And again, we've got 2 tracks for this week-long coaching session. We're either going to look at your sales process. You've got to nail your messaging. You've got to nail your positioning. You've got to have an easy next step for someone. You've got to deepen the relationship, because selling high ticket is different than selling low ticket. We need that relationship building piece, because that's who people buy from. They need to know that working with you is the answer to their problem and gives them the transformation. So we need to be able to attract the right fit people, and that's one track of this intensive. And as a bonus freebie, I'll review a piece of your sales promo. I'll review a piece of content. Like, this is like my eyes on your business, giving you like line by line review and comments for your sales promos. And this is just like the starter, so that you can take this promo and know that it's like good and going to work and create more like it. And that is going to bring in so many leads for your business. Or we can take it the track where you're like, I've got leads coming in, I just don't know how to convert them. And that's where we're going to go over the framework for how to hold a best fit call. Again, not a script, but it is creating safety for someone. There are certain ways we can position ourselves and like set ourselves up on the sales call, doing the follow-up. Again, we'll do the like role play, like really get you comfortable with selling your services and making the pitch, leaning into objections and leaning into those follow-ups, because that is going to make all the difference. When you have all of these pieces working together, there's no way your business won't work. There's no way that you can't flood your business with high ticket clients on repeat and make 5-figure months over and over and over and have it feel so easeful and honestly so fun. So I cannot wait. Book your best fit call and we can talk about what that could look like for you. Again, if you purchase one of these within the next week, I'm going to give you $500 off, because I know we need that incentive to help just kickstart things, and I don't want you to miss out on that. So I'll send the details and I'll put the link below. And again, just thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. This means so much to me. This was just a really fun masterclass to put together. Like, I'm just so grateful to be here. So grateful for y'all who signed up and like watching the replay. Like, I know this will change the game, and I'm just so fortunate, and just thank you again for being here, and I can't wait to talk to you later. Have a great rest of your day.